Hello, my name is Megan with a Boulder Table, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to be making something that I make every week to about 10 days here ever since we went into lockdown in March of 2020 with the pandemic, and that is house-made veggie broth. So here at home we eat 100% vegetarian, so we always make veggie broth. But if you eat chicken, beef, save your bones, save your scraps, and throw them into your broth. It's gonna probably make for a little more flavorful broth. But completely vegetarian is super easy. So if you're an avid home cook like me, you probably have all of the ingredients you already need to make veggie broth. So what we do throughout the week as we're cooking, we accumulate all of our scraps. So the ends of our celery, the ends of our carrots, the ends of our onion, our garlic, parsley stems. Sometimes we have mushroom stems. Sometimes if I use ginger and I'm peeling off the skin, I'll throw that into our bag. So in this bag is just all kinds of vegetables, and sometimes there's green onions. We put them in the freezer. So we keep them frozen, and then all you do, we usually make broth when it's around halfway full. Just gonna put these into a stock pot. I'm gonna add some bay leaves. So I purchased my bay leaves with Savory Spice Shop. Love those guys. I'm just gonna use one bay leaf. Actually, these are kind of small. I'm gonna use two. Handful of peppercorns. Not a handful, that was wrong. Like a tablespoon. You don't want to have too much pepper. It's going to be a pepper broth. One thing to note is you don't have to add salt. Don't add salt because this is going to cook down over the course of a couple hours. So if it is salted, what's going to happen is it's going to end up being too salty as the water evaporates. That's also good if you are on a low or no salt diet. Then you can have broth that is made at home, costs you nothing more, and it has no salt. And then we add water. Now, one of the caveats here in our historic home in Denver is that we have lead in our water. So we have a city-issued Brita filter. So it's gonna take me probably about 30 minutes to fill my pot. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour this water, I'm gonna refill it, I'm gonna let it filter. I'm gonna do that 6 or 7 times until my stock pot is basically full. So if you don't have lead in your water, fill your stock pot, bring it up to a boil, bring it down to a simmer, and let it go for about 2 hours is about all you need, especially if you're making a veggie stock. Because it's going to take me about 30 minutes to fill my pot from pouring out my Brita, refilling it, waiting for it to filter, pouring it out, refilling it, waiting for it to filter, what I do is I start my burner. So I turned it to high. So what's going to happen is that little bit of water that I have in there is going to start coming to a boil. And by the time it kind of comes to a boil, what I found is that my Brita has filtered one of its filterings. So I pour that in, kind of drops the temperature a little bit, brings it back up while another one's filtering, and I kind of keep up that cycle just to speed it along a little bit. And sometimes I forget, I walk away, 20 minutes go by, I'm like, oh crap, I'm only boiling like 4 cups of water when I want to be boiling like 4 quarts. But we make it work. After cooking for a few hours, turn off the stove and let it cool off. I like to let it come to around room temperature, and then you got to strain it. What I have at my house is a large bowl. Inside I put my large strainer, a fine mesh sieve, and that catches all the larger and smaller particles. And then you pour it out. See, all of this would have just been wasted, and instead, now I have enough broth to use in everything that I want to use this week. If there's a lot extra and you don't use a lot of broth, go ahead and freeze it. Put it into ice cube trays. That's a really good way to add a little broth into things without keeping it in the fridge for a long time. If you like this video, please subscribe. There will be more showing my cooking with my Brita filter, lead-free here in Denver. Thanks for watching.